kind of picking around in IMDb, and we were peeking into some stuff that you've been in production with. But what's on your like, if folks want to kind of keep an eye out for stuff you're working on, what kind of stuff have you got in the pipeline?
I've got. I shot a pilot with some of the producers for for Entourage.
Okay.
Right? They've got, so it centers around a stand-up comic and his travails through Hollywood and being single. And I play his manager, who would rather do anything other than manage him. So we're shopping that now to all the cable networks, and Netflix and Fox and so on and so forth, right? And I did a movie that's it's a parody of faith-based films, right? These two loser friends figure out that you can make a lot of money on faith-based films, and they have no idea how to make a faith-based film, but they decide to try to make a faith-based film. And it's a disaster, but it becomes a success, in the end.
I can't. So you have just made me hugely popular, Marlon, and here's why. Because I predict that will become my wife's favorite movie. So I have instant credit now at home. When this comes out, I'm gonna say I got to talk to that guy, and I think that's right up her alley. Any idea when that's going to surface?
Next year, early next year. Okay. I think February, March. Got to go in next week, actually, and shoot a pickup scene. Just sent me an email yesterday. So we'll do that scene. They'll finish editing and all the other, do post-production. It'll probably be out February, March. I think February, March. But it's called Faith-Based. It's a comedy, and it's funny. Jason Alexander is in it.
Okay. Oh, he's never heard of him.
George.
Yeah.
and Lance Reddick is in it.
Okay.
He's the concierge in the John Wick movies at the Continental Hotel, right? Tall, slim, black guy, wire.
Us gamers know him from the Destiny series. He's one of the major character voices, and those are good gigs apparently. But yeah, he's. And he was. Oh man, I'm gonna blow this. It was one of my favorite.
I can't help you, pal.
Yeah, Jay's not a sci-fi. Anyway, no, we're not.
Oh, you're not?
Lance Reddick. Sorry. Go ahead.
I am. I just don't. I don't sit down a lot, and I don't have a lot of time. Now, if my kids were still of the age to sit down with their dear old dad, then that might be might be something we could do. So
you're diversifying your talents there. These guys are out. It's still acting, they're doing there's a lot. Sometimes it's more work than shooting a movie, all the hours they have to put into these video games, and they're doing CGI and mapping them. And would you do something like that, Marlon? Is that, if anybody ever said, hey, we got a game that we want to get you in?
I did one.
Okay.
Don't ask me the name of it because I don't remember. It was about 7 years ago, right? So I did that. And that was fun. I was up for I can't remember the name of the character, but I was up for this sergeant in Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's a movie, or that's a game franchise nobody's ever heard of.
Oh, good. Okay, so yeah.
Jay, it's one of the most popular game franchises ever.
That one I do. Okay. That one I do know.
Oh, you heard of that one? Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I was up for that. And I was hoping to get it because it would have made me hugely popular with my only child, my son, but I didn't. So I'm just
just dad now.
Yeah, he's like embarrassed to be it's my daddy. Almost got a job on Call of Duty. My issue is this is part and parcel to showing up at an audition. The other 87 guys who look exactly like you show up at the audition. It's smaller now. That number is smaller for me, right? Because I've been fortunate to work and get a decent career. So now that number is about 6, right? So I go to the audition and there's like 6 other guys who look exactly like me. But the gaming thing is a voiceover job. And that may or may not be regular actors. It can specifically be guys who only do voiceover, right? So now it's just a voice. So they don't get all of this. They just get this voice. Mm-hmm. There's an actor who's probably 10 to 15 years older than me. who we have the same type voice, but he's been doing voice longer than me. So everything that I would be great for, he gets offered. So on the Call of Duty thing, it was between me and that guy. And the creators of the game went with that guy.
So, Jay, I'm going to step off the nerd deep end here for just a second with Marlon. That very thing.
You see what I have to live with, Marlon?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is something that I guess it's Warner Brothers and CW are toying around with heavily right now. So they've got all these superhero TV shows like Supergirl and Green Arrow and The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. I'm actually pulling this off. But so what they did is they went, and this has been all over the news the past like month or two. That's how I know about it. Is they went and got all these voice actors that have done the video games character voices, like Batman's voice and Superman's voice, right? Yep. And they are putting them in a massive come-together TV event on, I think it's the CW, and I think it's coming out like in the next month or two. But it's those guys that you're talking about that we have known their voices for decades, some of them that were voicing cartoons when I was in high school.
Sure.
And they're now, they've just put them into like they even went as far back as, I'm trying to think of the actor's name, but the original Batman, the campy TV show in the 60s, the guy that played Robin is in this production.
Burt Ward.
We're talking about. Burt Ward. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're going all the way back to reach as many, an audience as they can. So
as a total side note, I do 70% on Jeopardy. I can whip anybody's ass playing Trivial Pursuit.
Well, now I've got a lifeline if I ever get on. I've got a lifeline. So
okay. So and I sort of jumped in there, and you were after faith-based. What else is on the Marlon Young kind of calendar that we can keep an eye out for?
I started doing a lot of writing about 20 years ago, 20 so years ago, and I'm studying writing and I've now written a bunch of screenplays, right? About 20. And the latest one, we started shopping a month and a half ago with a writing partner who's from Nashville, by the way. My writing partner's from
Okay.
Robert Orr is his name.
Okay. One of the good ones, yeah.
You know Robert?
Yeah. He doesn't know me. I know his work.
So he for your edification, Jay, he was one of the screenwriters for Tears of the Sun.
Okay.
With Bruce Willis.
Yep.
And Savior with Dennis Quaid, and the Underworld series. Right. So Robert and I wrote this picture. We have a mutual friend who's a producer, and this producer has read some stuff I'd written, and he and Robert have been friends for about 10, 15 years. And Robert came to him, it's funny. Robert came to him and said, listen, I've got this idea that I've been wanting to write for a long time, and I think now's the time to write it. But I normally write alone. But this one I need a partner, and I need a partner because it's a military story, and I don't have any military experience, and it's a black story, and I'm as white as they come. Right. So, do you know a good writer, a really good writer, who's black, who's a military vet? And our friend said, I know one guy. So Robert and I met. He pitched me the story. We got on famously. So we ended up writing that screenplay earlier this year, and it's a studio picture. So we're out to, it's being read now by a couple of actors that we want to star in it, and a couple of directors that we want to direct it, one of which is, right? Oh. So the story is, if you entertain me for a second, the story is in World War I, there was an all-black regiment out of New York called the Harlem Hellfighters out of Harlem, New York, who were all volunteers who wanted to volunteer to fight to prove that they were as patriotic as the white soldiers who were fighting in World War One. And they thought if they could achieve that and fight for America, that it would change things for blacks in the relationship, in the country. They were wrong, but they still thought that's. So that's what happened. They ended up going and fighting in World War One. The president and General Pershing would not let them fight alongside white soldiers, so they detached them to the French army, our allies. So they fought for America, but alongside French soldiers, because French soldiers didn't care what color they were, right? So as long as you can kill Germans, we don't really care. So they did that, and they ended up fighting longer days, lost more men, never lost a guy never lost a prisoner to a soldier to a prisoner of war, and they were the most decorated by the French army out of that war, which is a great story in and of itself, right?
Right.
That's not the story we're telling, and Jay, you will absolutely appreciate the story that we're telling, because every regiment that went to fight in that war took a regimental band along with them for morale purposes. The band that worked with these guys was led by a guy named James Reese Europe, who was the most famous black musician in the country at the time, 1917. His band, he took his band members to go fight and play, and that band introduced jazz to Europe.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool?
That is really cool.
And
yeah, that is awesome.
Jay, us sci-fi nerds know him as the villain in the.
Yeah.
If you've seen that, you know who.
Yes, I do. That was the first time.
Okay, all right.
So-
Keeping up with the train. Good job.
I'm keeping up with the train, man.
So
I'm
this
keeping
is,
up with the train.
Yeah, wow. There's so many.
I mean, there's
wow.
so many directions we can go here, Marlon. No
You
doubt
can
about
turn
it.
this into a series. I mean, and you're just
Sure.
you're gonna try to keep this into a single movie, or are you gonna how are you gonna?
I don't know. Right now it's that. Right, we're billing it we're selling it as Saving Private Ryan meets A Star Is Born. If you've seen this, right? So it's a musically infused movie. It's not but it's musically driven. In that every scene that has music, it's either being played by somebody or listened to by somebody, or right. So all of the music is organic to the story, and it's all of the music that James Reese York wrote.
See, I'd watch an entire like Netflix series on this. I'd be in.
We thought that we're not sure. We'll see how it plays out. We like to do it as a screenplay because we think it's an award season. It's an award season film.
Yeah. Okay. All right.